All right, so this is the review for Greenland. I have never seen the trailer for this for some reason. I've never seen anyone react to it. Then again, I only watched one channel that of a reaction channel that reacts to trailers. So I'm not even subbed to them anymore. So I'm kind of really out of the loop again. But this is a 2020 film. This is an early release. And it stars Gerard Butler. And I know people have opinions on one side of him and the other one's on him. On the other, I personally like him as an actor. I don't think he's like, something huge and big and wonderful. But I definitely do enjoy him as an actor and some of his movies. Um, the director of this is Rick Roman. And when I looked up the films of what he's been in, what he's directed, and Angel Has Fallen, and I was for some reason for a while this year I was thinking of that Angel Has Fallen was a bad movie. I believe I gave it a good review, but then again it was back when, well, if you look, you'll see what what I'm getting at. But I was actually mistaken because there was another movie that came out, and I don't know the name of it, but it has stars Jamie Foxx and the guy who played Duke in G.I. Joe. And they went a comedy route with that, but it was pretty much the same movie, just a comedy version of it. That's the one I did not like. Or maybe I did. I honestly don't remember which is which because they were so similar. But either way, I still need to watch the second and third Angel Has Fallen of the franchise. The third one came out this year. Hopefully, it's better than the other one. The producers of here is actually what kind of thought it was going to be a really good movie. It was like a great movie. Was the producers of the John Wick franchise. Now I don't know really necessarily how big of a role, like how important it is for producers when it comes to the viewer's point of view, especially someone who's only more into directors than the writers and the producers, because I'm not really into that stuff. Not saying I don't know some stuff, but producers and writers I'm not really familiar with, and they didn't really say who the actual names were on the iTunes page. And I got this off of iTunes. I rented it for $19.99, so it could be a loss or it could be a win. The plot of this is pretty simple. It's a family fights for survival as the planet is being killed by a comet, and this comet is like so long with so many different. It was huge at one point to where it broke up as it was coming from another universe, right? So it has all these rocks fall on it, and so it's heading towards Earth. And so throughout the movie, you get it like slamming down and hitting spots and stuff, and different sizes of explosions and stuff. From the trailer, I swore this was an invasion movie because they have in the trailer they have a whole bunch of these a fleet of they're not called fleet, that's boats, but a whole bunch of fighter jet flying in one direction in the air. So I was thinking this was going to be where the asteroid comes down, and also in the trailer it doesn't. It shows it going down, but then someone says they don't hear an explosion. So I was thinking it wasn't an asteroid; it was like an alien spaceship or some sort. They thought it was an asteroid, and it was going to be an invasion. No, it was a flat out disaster movie of end of the world disaster. This family is called the Garretts. It's Gerard Butler, his estranged wife, and their young son, who apparently has diabetes, one type of diabetes. So normally how that goes. But they're at a party, and they get a presidential alert telling them that they're being selected to go to this bunker for the future because he is a very powerful contractor for skyscrapers. And you kind of need that, obviously, for after the world's wiped out. Now, he's at this party, and there's his friends in here and their families. And it was interesting how they reacted to it. Normally, when you get that, you get them freaking out, which they did. But then they somehow try to be greedy. No, I wouldn't say greedy, but try to take advantage of that, or go after them, and that type of thing. Definitely, they went a little different way with that. They weren't happy about it for sure. Nor would you be. But they took it well. There was a part when they were leaving that that one of them was trying to hand over their child and they were refusing it. Honestly, that was definitely rough for me, and that was definitely rough obviously for them. You could tell it was rough for them. His best friends his best friend in here was definitely, got a little upset, and but then understood. There was this really, okay, it's Hollywood, so it's a little bit ridiculous what they've been doing for years, is unrealistic stuff. George Lord Butler hears birds outside after hearing a big boom while they're at this party. He runs outside, he sees the birds flying, your normal case of something's not right, something huge coming. And all of a sudden, a wave came from the blast. Sonic wave, I think they're called. And he flew back. I was rolling my eyes on that, and I still am. If anyone knows how those work, those are actually flat out deadly as hell. It definitely would have made the house shake and all the houses shake, and it definitely would have killed him immediately. And if he flew back that hard from that, he would actually be dead from that as well. But it's like, it's Hollywood. What are you gonna do? It's like, at this point, why complain? And so they're in Florida, and it hits Florida, which I think they're in Florida because I had a little bit of a confusion of how they got from Florida to Kentucky to New York. Now, I have to look at a map somewhere, and I don't have one, but I recall Florida is all the way down here, and Kentucky's, I guess, in the middle of something, and I know New York is on the side, but is upper. So I'm not seeing how they would have got there that fast within a couple days, of a drive. Because they didn't fly there, they drove. Now, I will say that something that struck me right away was the lighting of the video, of the movie. It was pretty bright. You could see stuff. It was bright enough, though, that it was a little bit distracting to the eyes, but then I definitely got used to it. And this was only at daytime. When it was at nighttime, it was fine. So they could have, at least in editing, done some darkening to it. And I know I criticized some darkening, but that's usually when you go too dark. What they have to even it out so you can clearly see what's going on, but it's not so bright. And it was definitely a good amount of brightness to it, but not, where you couldn't see anything. And there's been a movie like that or two that I've seen that, and I can't remember what the names are, but they definitely were way too bright. It was hard to see certain parts. It's like the version of the darkening, of too much darkening, obviously. Now, back to the kid having diabetes. They get to the bunker and they do this thing you get a lot. And as soon as he has diabetes, that usually in movies something happens where they drop something he needs, the medicine he needs, and something either happens. They have to make him go back or something. So he goes back out of the plane, out of the military base, while his wife and kid are there. And he goes out and gets the bag of insulin. But while that's happening, something pretty bullshit happens that, something the government would do is they kick the kid out and her, because the kid has diabetes. They don't want anybody that has any mental, has any form of severe illness or anything like that. The kid has diabetes. That is pretty cold blooded, and then that was pretty stupid. Not, that was pretty effed up of on their part, and that's something the government would do. The military lady was trying to calm her down, and she was being nice as she can, even though another effed up thing is the lady said that like 70 some percent or 80 some percent or even 90% of military deployments don't get picked to be under these undergrounds. They're just doing their job to serve their country and then die, which I get. You got to serve your country, but at the same time, that's kind of fucked up. Excuse my language, but it is. It's pretty fucked up. But he ends up come back in, goes on the plane, and hell breaks loose. As you can imagine, that kind of reminded me of zombies, of how the old CGI of the people running on as they get into the base somehow. You would think they would be shot, and how would they even get into a base? I'm not sure. That's kind of unrealistic, but then again, I don't know the layout of the military base. So, because they would have like wires on the pokey steel gates and fences, so it's like, I don't want to nitpick, but it's kind of a thing there. It's just another thing. But it just, explosions happen and all that kind of stuff. And then so, as this is happening, the woman and the son are going to a store, and then you know how people are in these movies in real life. Obviously, if you've seen the BML riots or whatever you want to call it, I don't want to get into which side or whatever. I don't care, but this is a perfect example of how people can be when they're, either scared or they're frustrated. And I'm not saying that's right, because it's not, but they do it, and that's what's going to be like. And then, so they have people walking in the store and shooting up the place, and one guy lets them go, which is nice. And so there's definitely a lot of dick holes in this movie, and then there's also a lot of nice people in here, which is more realistic, and I like that they did that. There's a scene in here with the nurse that's at this Red Cross kind of camp to get the kids together and help heal people, as that has been done, and that should be done. But I know she's doing her job, but she was really nice, really friendly to the kid and to the mother, to the point where the mother actually, was crying, and actually, she was already crying because she lost her kid, and I'll get to that in a second how, but she just hugs him because she's so nice, and I love that. And then so now we'll get to the point where the kid got kidnapped. The lady and the kid go into his car by this nice couple that were at the store. And as soon as I saw the actor, I don't know his name, but he's one of those actors that has these small parts in here where he's always the bad guy. And I thought they were going to do it after they found out that they were chosen because they have the bracelets on them. So later down the road, the guy decides, hey, you know what? I'm going to take your child, and I'm going to take your band, and me and my wife are going to put you on the side of the road, and we're going to pretend we're yours. We're pretending you're you to go in. Which obviously didn't go well, because they only have one band, each three. I mean, the kid had the band, the woman had the band, but he didn't have the husband's band. And the wife was kind of not really on board with it. But there was something off about that guy. I mean, he was obviously scared, so I'm not going to be calling him like, hey, yeah, he has mental illness or a psycho person. But he does have some issues, and it was this wrong thinking. He was cold-hearted. Of course, it's George Butler. He's that kind of action star, kind of tough guy. So, you know that it wouldn't be a George Butler movie if if it wasn't have, if it didn't have some sort of fight scene in it. I know there's probably been some like romance ones, but those are romance ones. But so it's interesting. He's in Kentucky. He's on this kind of immigrant type of reminds me of a truck going to find his wife and kid at his father-in-law's house. And so he's on there, and there's a black guy playing by King Batch, which I don't know his real name, but I noticed he used to be a Viner back when Vine was a huge thing, caused some problems, drama, but he's been in some action films, or some films in general where he's been acting and have small parts. From the little of what I've seen of his acting, I thought he did a good job. Especially for a Viner. I originally was going to put YouTuber, but I remembered he was a Viner. Maybe he's a YouTuber now, but I never really found his stuff funny on Vine or entertaining out of all the people on there. He had a very good part in there. It was small, but what was interesting is he was on there and George Butler was on there. And I should have looked ahead, and I was going to see if George Butler was Scottish or Irish. I forgot. I believe he's Irish. Sounds Scottish. I can't tell the difference. My ignorance. But there's like these pure redneck dudes on there, white dudes, and they didn't say it particularly what they were, but they obviously hinted at it that they were alt-right members, more like kind of the KKK thing. And that was more beyond the fact that on the nose because he kept asking where George Butler is from because of his accent, and then eventually says he doesn't deserve to get passage to the bunker underground in America because he's not American, which he is obviously in this. And so there's a scuffle, and then which was pretty ridiculous to watch. Honestly, in the back of the truck, it was just the whole like a party in the back of people punching stuff, and then the whole funny thing of the truck for some reason twisting, and they automatically bust through the walls, the sides, which are kind of a wood grate. And for some reason, King Batch dies, and then George Butler kills one of the guys, and he starts freaking out, then breaks into a house later, and then ends up his father's. I thought that it was good of an idea at first, but then it got really comical to it. That. If you know anything about the asteroid that hit Earth and what they're saying about if asteroids hit big enough, and if you know anything about space, you know that these asteroids and meteors are radiation infused, like highly. So they go outside after the bunker, like right next morning for some reason, and they open the bunker and they go outside. And they see all this devastation in Greenland, and then they see a couple birds flying, which is cool. I thought that was a cool thing to put in there. To show that there's still life out there, because they did say it was like 75% or it's going to be wiped out of all living things, including plants. But you would know that they even had readers of radiation. They said that, oh no, there's no radiation, let's open the doors. There's no way in hell there's not radiation after that. The big one hit after all that, and that's the one that took out 75% of the world living. And the shock, because from the shockwave it came, and then everything's burning and all that. There would definitely, hands down, be a hell of a lot of radiation fallout from the dust and all the rocks and all that stuff in the air from the asteroid. So, and maybe it'll go away at some point. I don't know. I've seen movies where that one was like an exaggeration, but it was really good. Oh, I forgot what it's called. It's like a B movie, but it was back, and I think in the 70s or something, 80s or something they made. I have to look to see what that was. But they went outside, the farmers went outside, and radiation, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. There is no way in hell, and this is a big part, this is not even a nitpick, this is a big part. There is no way in hell they would be able to go outside and not have radiation poisoning. There's no way you would live. That's the thing about that. It's just like, it's considered to be as impactful and as bad as a nuclear warhead. Or you know, if like the whole thing, if like half our nukes went off, or if we all went off, or something, you know, whatever. No, that's not realistic at all. Now, despite the stupidness of some spots and the realisticness of this, I am someone who will accept something for what it is if it is either in my wheelhouse of entertaining or just entertaining in general. I thought the movie was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just in the middle, you know, flat out okay. I thought it was entertaining. I've seen way better asteroid kind of dramatic end of the world movies like this, and this one definitely had some new stuff to it, more realistic stuff, but had a good amount of bigger unrealistic stuff to it. And the CGI was, I'll put out there, was, you know, hit or miss in a lot of spots. But it wasn't a terrible movie. It was enjoyable. It was okay. I would definitely give this 3 out of 5 axes. It's a movie to check out, just to check out, you know, something to watch. It's nothing like, oh, you must go see it. You know, you must watch it. Please like and subscribe, and Happy New Year's Eve. I've been saying all I can say about this year. We all know what it is. It's pretty obvious what it is. It's a shit year. So, I love you all. Please stay positive, and Skull.